So we are here today to talk with Dennis and Mark here from EC Manufacturing regarding a new product that is just coming into the marketplace called rSTUD. And we want to talk about the what makes rSTUD so green. Why don't you start out, Mark, telling us a little bit about some of the attributes of rSTUD.
Well, so what we did with rSTUD is we took a look at existing building practices and realized that in the upcoming years there was going to be a code change that required people to have a thermal break on their walls to create better energy efficiency of homes. We thought that there would be a more efficient and economical way of doing this by maybe taking the stud apart and then putting that thermal break in between the two pieces of wood, as opposed to having a thermal break that would be on the entire outside of the house. So what we did is we, through several prototypes, we came up with a stud that you see here, where we have an LVL on either side with a insulated material in between those two pieces. So we've created a thermal break that's at the individual stud, as opposed to one that goes over the entire skin of the house.
So, Dennis, why don't you tell us a little bit about rSTUD?
Okay, well, to start, I'm most excited about the energy savings. To me, that's the thing that's most important to our country right now, cutting down our energy consumption. But I'm also excited about the reduction in material used to make a building. So in, say, like our 2x6 product, you're using about 40% less wood. You know, that's a great savings. The wood that we're using, because it's made out of laminate, we can use more of the tree, which reduces the demand for wood in our product and increases the amount of the tree that can be used to make finished product. So that has a significant reduction of engineered wood can use up to 50% less wood to make the same amount of product as a sawn lumber. And then I'm excited about the foam. And I know so our polyurethane insulator, compared to the kind of a sheathing or covering of the entire house to get a thermal break with some sort of foam board material, we're reducing 75% the amount of insulator required to get the thermal break on the building. So those are the things that are most exciting to me about it.
So how is it you're reducing 75% of the foam that could potentially be used in a traditional construction?
Well, in order to provide the thermal break over the outside, you can't just put a strip of foam on the outside of your house, because then everything's off plane. It would wreck the siding and everything else trying to go on out there. So the solution is to put an entire covering of foam board across the outside wall. That way at least things are on plane. But in a lot of places you're adding really low quality insulation over a really well insulated wall, and you're not really getting much benefit from that. What we do is we go to the weak point in the insulation, which is the framing member. Now your wall here can be well insulated with a number of materials, but the framing member tends to pass that heat and cold at a lot higher rate than your insulated wall. Because we get the thermal break into the weak point, we can eliminate it from the entire outer wall and have a highly insulated wall without what really amounts to kind of overkill over the majority of the outside wall and a little bit less than ideal insulation over the framing members.
I really see builders actually benefiting from this. So, Mark, why don't you tell us a little bit about the upcoming code changes and how that applies how rSTUD would be a good fit with these new changes that are being applied.
Well, so in 2000, the 2009 International Residential Code is going to require a complete and total U value and or R value for a wall at about an R21. Now, traditionally, you've been able to meet the code by putting the R value in between the cavities of the studs, but the Code Council realized that we were losing somewhere in the neighborhood of about 20 to 30% of energy through the framing members. So then they've since then created the code for 2009 that will require a complete R value, and in order to obtain that, you're going to have a thermal break on the outside. Now this applies in zones 4, 5, and 6 in particular throughout the United States. And so in order to obtain that R21 complete for the wall, you're going to have somewhere around 1 inch to 2 inches of foam on the outside of the wall, plus then whatever insulation material you're going to have in the cavity in order to meet that R value. With rSTUD, you no longer have to have that foam, you just have the framing members, so you frame like you normally would, and you insulate like you normally would, and then you have an actual better performing wall than you would according to 2009 code.
So when I look at this, I would call this like an insulated lumber. Is that what you would call this? Is like an insulated lumber? Have you? Where would I find this if I was to go look for like an rSTUD?
Well, right now you'll find it on our website, rstud.com. Our hope is that you'll find it in all the distribution channels that you'd normally buy your lumber from. We do see it as a lumber product, though it's a composite. It's appropriate for the lumber industry. Just like you would buy a header material or other things from the same person that provides your stud products, this is going to go through those same channels. So the best person to ask about where you can get it is the person that you buy lumber from right now.
So is rSTUD the only product that's available right now, or are there other insulated lumber products available?
Right now, rSTUD's it. So we definitely want to make the technology available for manufacturing, and are looking for the right partners to work on that with.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time today to talk with me about some of the sustainability or the sustainable features of rSTUD. Is there anything else that I might have missed in our conversation? Did you like to add to our video?
Just that we're not done yet. We have a green product that we're super excited about, but we're going to make it greener. So we're looking at what vendors could come to manufacturing with FSC certified woods. We're working with different polyurethane and other type of insulating companies looking for greener structural insulation materials. We're talking to people about the blowing agents used and things like that, trying to come up with, we've made a great leap forward, but we're trying to make it better.
Okay. Thanks again for your time. Look forward to hearing more about rSTUD in the future.